water's getting close.
I guess I'll need this one for this one.
Like 30 seconds.
Uh-huh.
Okay, ready? All right, welcome to the Board of Commissioners work session meeting. Today's date is April 7th, 2026 at 9 a.m. in the commission chambers. We'll do a call to order.
Commissioner Stubbs here.
Commissioner Mon here. We will start with our first item, which is review and update our commission policies and procedures, and we'll allow our county attorney, Deputy County Attorney Jens
So are you doing
Nielsen.
it? Is he doing it? Okay.
Just do a continuum. Can you stand for 2 hours?
I got it.
Where are we at?
Okay. Well, I went back through and I talked with Mac as well, and I think we finished around where it says work session items and procedures, or I mean, it looks like we made some changes and stuff there, but if we started there, that's page 11.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see that we made a couple changes there, but maybe.
Oh, we did, I think.
I don't know if you want to revisit that at all, but
Well, I just have a question because a bunch of it, not a bunch, but some other commissions, when they have a work session, they don't like publicly do it. Like they have it around the conference table and work on it and do that.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why we still publicly do our work session? Because that way you can talk about things and work through things. They say they don't publicly do their work sessions. They just work through things that then come onto their agenda.
Which county is that?
Yeah, that's because I've.
There's many. I don't know. I have to think
Well,
of them.
maybe we're talking about same thing and two different things. You have the Open Meetings Act.
Yeah.
So if you have some administrative items and work session to go over some of those things, you could have that as a non-public meeting because you're not making policy for the county that goes beyond the administrative part. Here, I suppose you could argue that your work sessions on the policies and procedures, you could have those in a more private work session, and then have the public have the finished product in a public meeting and have hearing and
not to hide
comments.
anything. They just said your work sessions are public, and they don't have to be. So anyhow, just.
I think that's mostly when they have work sessions on administrative things or legal
Right.
things. Yeah.
Okay.
More the
Maybe
public
do
is
the
informed, the better, I guess.
I thought the purpose of the work meeting is for public to see how we come to the conclusion we have come. And so that's the reason we have so they can watch and see how we,
Which is fine as well. I just was asking. So.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. What's our next one, Ron?
So, well, is there anything further on work session items? Page 11.
Not for me.
Okay, this red here is what we worked the last commission meeting.
Correct.
The last work meeting.
Right.
What you're seeing
Do
online.
we have any other, the version that we started with Johnny?
You mean the original?
The original, they had all the red lines. We started with them with that.
It's attached. It's the one where we
Well,
It's the one we were working on, right? And then
I know, but
this
we
has
Yeah.
the red
but
lines.
we are not seeing all the changes as we go on that one. We
I-
got no red lines.
I think the way to describe that would be what you're looking at now includes changes from the beginning till now. This document doesn't track every change from the very beginning. I think that's
No, but
true.
if we have a progress, we will be adding. So we can see the changes. We can have so many versions being presented, you know, and we can correct that, even page number or whatever. But I cannot say, well, this is what we started with Johnny, and we following that. And we also had an attorney that was, I think, hired by yourself to kind of do, to show us. And I've been trying to find that document. I know I have seen it before. Do you know what we're talking about, Matt? The one, there was a lady from USEP that went over the original, the current. She went either.
So
I don't know what you mean. I
I
don't.
think so. They're just confusing. So if you're seeing some of the public comments with the red line version, that the properties in it are from Sonia White.
Yeah, that's what.
Sonia is Johnny's secretary, and so
And that,
so
I was
that's where
trying to find that one.
you see that one.
document
That
to see.
one's the one that Johnny had submitted. And so from Johnny's version, you have this new version that we're working on now. So it incorporated Johnny's suggested changes and then your changes since then. So the one that we're looking at now is the most current with all of
Yeah,
the changes.
I understand that. I just want to see.
But yeah, that's
I want
why
to
you
be
have
able to see
Sonia.
how those changes, suggestions have been incorporated.
Yeah, yep. And this, I don't know, one of the things that I've always just been in the habit of the practice of is on our policies and procedures before the final, I toss them into USIP for a final review. And so we could do that here if there's concerns that, okay, maybe we missed something on the legal standpoint or the insured standpoint compared to getting ready to adopt.
I would think that would be a really good idea to do that. So anyway, sorry.
That's okay. So, anything further on page 11 with the work session items?
Nothing for me.
I think we went through those. On to page 12, consent agenda. Pretty straightforward there.
Can I give you a second to find where you are at?
So this is page 12 of the document with the red lines.
Yeah, I am trying to find it. All fingers don't find pages as easy.
I understand.
So Kathy gave me, we need a statement that talk about seniors in the commission. Should be allowed to do a few things a little bit long. Page 12.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So item J there, the consent agenda.
Okay. Can we have Matt? Can you read it to us? This print's a little bit smaller, but can you read it?
So the purpose of the consent agenda is to quickly process and dispose of non-controversial matters being adopted all at once. All items on the consent agenda shall be considered without further discussion or debate. All items on the consent agenda shall be voted on in a single vote. The items of the consent agenda are approved by a simple majority vote. Any item may be removed from the consent agenda for the commission consideration as part of the general business section of the agenda during the meeting by a majority vote of the
It
commission.
seemed to me that 3 and 4 conflict with each other.
It's giving you kind of the order of the consent when you have a consent item, and you'll see these routine matters that we
Yeah.
constantly see. Amendments will go in here as well, letters of support, items that need to be ratified that you've
Oh,
already
I'm
approved
sorry,
online.
it's 2 and 4 the ones that conflict. Is that what I said, 2 and 4?
But it gives you this option to take a consent agenda item
Yeah.
and move it down to the business action item for further discussion.
Yeah, I understand that, but when they say all items of the consent agenda shall be considered without any further discussion or
You
debate.
could put may.
I understand that in the normal circumstances of business of the county. Then,
So may right there.
Well, what this is saying is this is not an item that is to be debated and discussed and then decided on. The consent agenda is generally, just items that aren't really subject to that type of discussion. I mean, there might be questions like when there's an item that says 12,000 for new computers. Someone might say, "Oh, that's who got the computers or where," but it's not really designed to be an item of discussion and debate and then make a decision after. It's just the routine stuff. So if it is an item that's controversial or needs to be debated, then it should probably come off the consent agenda and go to another part of
We can leave it.
or even renoticed for another meeting.
Well, it just says they shall be considered without further discussion, which I agree with. But yet, we do pull.
well, we have had Commissioner Harvey where he have pulled,
And that's where number 4
that's
comes
where
in.
number 4 comes
Yeah.
in.
Number
So
4 will.
I'd just leave it as
but
shall.
it had never been under, we never voted for him, he just asked, anyway, so I just,
This just gives you some, flexibility to.
Gives you an option in there. That's kind of how I see it.
Yeah. The linguist has arrived.
yeah, he even checked the signs and the Monticello, make sure the Greek and the Hebrew was correct, and she said was correct.
Good deal. Okay. Section K. Meeting location and decorum. Meeting locations open to the public. This is maybe a little bit of duplication or review on the behavior during the meetings and so forth. We talked a little bit about that last time. Just so that everybody in the public is clear. Comments that are critical of the county and so forth go with the territory. Everybody understands that. It's up to the commission how they want to have, what rules, of course, in the meeting. I don't think anyone on the commission wants to curtail anyone's First Amendment rights or forego opportunities to hear good criticism, even if it's criticism that people don't like. Activity that's criminal in nature, like threatening or actually physically, accosting somebody, that of course is way over the line and, not
All
permitted.
rise for
So
the sheep herder.
yeah. So I think we covered that.
How are you?
I think, paragraph 2 in K, section K is pretty benign, pretty common.
I think that should be the exception, not, because we're gonna have confrontation, they're gonna come
Sure.
and there are people, they are, it's kinda hard for them to come and do this, and they're nervous, and all kinds of stuff,
Sure.
they're frightened, and they're not just talking for themselves. Most of the people that have the courage to come to the microphone is they're representing a whole group of people.
Sure.
So we got to figure out, how can we calm the situation down with
Yeah, I
Making it
think
worse.
these policies and procedures and the course that the commission has taken over time
The
seems
commission
to.
told me there's supposed to be you have a copy like this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good, okay, yeah, I wasn't sure. Can we give him a minute so he can? find page-
Absolutely not.
page-
He's got to hit the ground running full speed.
He's got it right there, ready to go.
Got to
No
find the
time
page,
for
so
no
one-
time for stretching or warm-ups.
Right,
So we're on page 12.
got it.
I think we're to section M for voting,
Voting M, okay.
unless there's anything more on K.
Did we make any changes prior to M?
No.
Just
No,
going
so that's a
through?
good point. So we picked up in section I, work session, and we
Okay.
determined that we more or less covered that last time. That's where we kind of left off.
So kind of continuation.
Yeah. So in section J and J and K, no changes were made, and then now we're in M,
Got it.
voting. So I think again pretty straightforward. You have a majority to pass. Number 2 talks about conflicts. If you, I think you're all aware of this. You know, it's good to. You're required to let people know if there is a conflict. Once you declare your conflict, it doesn't necessarily mean you can't participate and vote. It just means that you have a conflict. And conflicts, like a lot of things, there's a scale. You know, some things are such a conflict you don't want to be any part of the discussion because you don't want to be viewed as, self-dealing or promoting your own self-interest. Other times, especially in a county like this, my goodness, you're going to have a conflict. Any member of the commission here, a lot of times they're business people and have various things they do in the community, so there's almost always a conflict. And we're related to everybody, so it's hard to fulfill your role if you're not able to participate in every possible conflict. But that being said, I think you understand there are some conflicts where you recuse yourself. So is there any question about that? You feel like
Well, I just have a question about the blue underline. Is that the red underline? Why we have the blue, what is the,
I think it's more changes were made like in formatting.
Oh, the blue?
the blue versus
right?
the red?
The blue is just Microsoft Word. There's spaces in between the letters.
Yeah, it's just formatting.
The blue was made by a male, and the red was made. I'm
Like
just kidding.
Microsoft Word will highlight those
What's
areas that
wrong,
need to
yeah.
be fixed.
It's the programmings.
Yeah,
Yep.
just the.
Wants you to
well,
figure it
I
out.
just wanna, yeah,
There you go.
thank you.
You
I
bet.
just don't wanna confuse us more than we're already
Sorry.
confused.
Yeah, it's Microsoft showing you that there's errors in there.
Can you move that last sentence up so we don't have a straggler on that page? Do we have enough room? No. See the very bottom.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, you brought the rest in.
Leaving seat.
Nope. Yep. See the next page down? Being recorded except in the case of personal emergency.
So failure to vote means a nay vote, leaving your seat. Just wait till after the vote.
In the past, so a lot of times you'll see the Navajo Nation. They'll go through their voting. Chair will not vote. And so in their rules of conduct, the chair is allowed to not vote, and it's not counted as a nay or a yay. In our form of government, in state law, it's either a yes or a no. There's
Yeah.
no abstention.
Mm-hmm.
If you abstain, it's a no vote. If you're not here, it's no vote. And so that's basically what this is saying.
Yeah.
We've had a commissioner in the past says, well, I abstain, and it was a land use item. And so you have 3 commissioners. One is a yes, the other one's no, and the other one abstains. Well, abstention is a form of no. And so we have to clarify that for future votes with him. It's like if you abstain, that means you're voting no.
Yeah.
I have a question. Is there certain, most of the items, we deal in it's easy to vote.
Mm-hmm.
Is there certain circumstances where it will require a full quorum to vote in agreement? Is there certain rules? I mean,
I guess just
You mean,
majority.
I just asked, anyway, I just want to,
like to go into closed session, for
suppose-
example, or come out of closed
no.
session, or?
no, suppose we have an item that by, once somebody decide not to vote in favor, but it's very critical for the county. So, is there such a thing as that? You know what,
She's talking about number one, I think.
number one?
Takes two affirmative votes.
Right now, the commission is saying it'll be only 2 votes,
Yeah.
not a majority vote. Are you, Commissioner Stubbs, are you proposing?
No, I'm not proposing anything. I just wondering if there's certain things that really affects the county. A lot more than
That
deciding-
requires a unanimous vote, is that what you mean?
I was wondering if it's a case like that. I mean, it's something that.
I don't know of it, if there is.
Mac, do you know any
Mm-mm.
circumstance like that? Okay, no, I just.
As long as the majority votes for it or doesn't vote for it, declines it, then
I think
Okay.
the only
That's what we go
only
off.
unanimous vote I can think of doesn't have to do with closed session. Yeah. Anyway,
adjourning the
can
meeting.
look. Yeah, can look it up. I guess
Well, you don't
I
even
forget.
have to have unanimous on a close. Don't you just have to have a majority?
Just the majority.
Yeah,
So it's just
2/3.
simple majority.
I was thinking it was a unanimous to come out for some reason closed session. I don't know why, but
Unless you all want to
probably
stay in.
probably wrong about that. Yeah, you stay in forever. Okay. Let's see here. Any questions on the voting section?
Oh, we got change of vote.
So yeah, 5, 6, and 7. So if you want to change a vote, you can do it up until the chair says, the motion passes or the item passes. So once in a while you may vote and then change your mind. Just make sure you change it quickly.
Well, there is a process in here that if you vote after the vote is done and you move on to the next agenda item, and you're further down the agenda, you can ask the chair if you can recall an item and bring it back to everybody's attention. If I don't know, I've seen this, or somebody's conscience maybe like bugging them for the rest of the meeting. It's like, hey, I'd like to have further discussion on that agenda item. You can bring it back for reconsideration. It allows for that in these policies. So just know that typically once it's done, you can recall the matter
Okay.
back up.
That basically reinforces that the three of you
Well, sometimes on
make the rules.
agenda,
So if you need to,
you learn something or
sure.
had a thought, wait a minute, this is not what I thought it was going to be, kind of thing. So,
All right, section N, motions. Making and withdrawing a motion. Pretty straightforward here. You have a first and a second. You have your time for debate. You can withdraw a motion. A motion can die if there's not a second. You can have a motion that's divisible. Number 2 there. Number 3 talks about a motion that's out of order. Just more or less pointing out that you have to start the process with the motion for the voting. You can rescind a motion.
Is that where we're supposed to be rescission?
Let's see, where are we
On number
talking?
4. See where it's underlined in blue, Mac?
I know, I clicked on that and it gave me recession.
Recession, but it's supposed to be rescind.
Rescission.
Rescission.
That's
or
the right word.
Rescission.
The effect of a rescission, is that what you mean?
Or is it rescission?
Rescission, as it's written there, is the right way. I mean, that's the legal term used if you want to
Okay.
if you want to
Rescission
have a
of-
rescission of this or that, like a
Okay.
kind of
Like that.
a not very often used word, but you got the reconsideration of a motion, postponing a motion, tabling a motion.
So you've transitioned from a motion to table to a motion to suspend.
I think the point here is that when we decide to not vote on an item and save it for later, you make mention that you're not voting on it today, you're going to vote on it at the next meeting. You give a specific time of when that will be addressed. And if you got to that time and it needed to be postponed again, you could, but
So the postponing is to the other meeting, and tabling is to further in the agenda.
I-
Correct.
I think that's a good way to look at it. I wouldn't get too caught up in the
Sure.
language. I mean, the main thing is that if you decide on an item not to vote today in the meeting and you want it for next meeting, you just make that clear.
Okay.
And if you want to say, let's hold on to this for a little bit till later in the meeting, that's okay. Table,
Okay.
postpone, just make it clear.
Explain to me number 7.
Yeah, that's what we were. So if there's an item on the agenda that as you go through your discussion and maybe there's a public hearing and you get new information, you might decide we're not going to vote on this today. In which case you can kill it all together and say this doesn't pass, it's dead. Or you can say we are going to.
Okay, but that doesn't, now could you read number 7?
Tabling a motion.
Uh-huh,
Any item on the agenda may be tabled until later in the same meeting.
okay.
A motion to table temporary suspends further consideration or action on an agenda item until later in the meeting. A motion to bring back to the table shall be made to resume discussion on the item tabled. An item to be considered at a future meeting shall be postponed rather than tabled. So this is like we're all sitting down at dinner.
Yeah,
You have biscuits and eggs and gravy, and
so
You're
there's
gonna
two
keep
kinds
the
of
eggs
tabling.
on
There's
the table.
two types of tabling. It's described
Postpone?
here, but, okay, like when we tabled the ordinance when it came, we tabled for
Postponed.
6 months, whatever.
Postpone.
postponed.
Anyway, so
So we just got to be clear on our
it has
motions
to be a
that
little
we're
bit more
making.
clear because it has a whole bunch on table in this meeting, bring it later.
Yeah,
But the last sentence make it just make it look like before that it's no hope of a table for later. But
postponing.
that's just a brief mention about an item to be considered later. I think it should expand it as the second. It's one set and then a second set of tabling.
So you have table and postponing. Is that what you're meaning?
I think-
so the postponing is
I think this covers.
we're gonna hold off on this meeting and put it on a future meeting.
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
So that's item 6.
So I was just reading the tabling. So
So
the
tabling is
other one. So suppose we don't want something in the agenda to go through until we have more information. So we go in and then we use number 6.
I think number 7, if you look at the last sentence in 7, an item to be considered at a future meeting shall be postponed rather than tabled. Like I say, the wording, as long as you say, get in your motion that we're not addressing this today, we're addressing it at the next meeting, it's fine. So you have the two things. One is we're going to address this later in today's meeting. The other is we're addressing it not today, but
But what if
At
it
a
takes
future.
longer than this meeting? What if
Just-
it takes,
I mean, you could, so if you thought you could, if you thought you needed 6 months, like you said earlier,
Yeah.
6 months. If you
Okay.
think next meeting, you say next meeting. If you get to next meeting and you decide you need more time, same thing. Just keep going.
And if you remember back, you'd seen Commissioner Harvey do this on the land use,
Yeah, I
the
remember
general
that.
plan.
That's what I
It's
was-
like
Yeah,
we're gonna hold this for 6 months so that we
Yeah.
can get this finalized, and
yeah,
so that would be a postponing motion
okay.
with a time frame.
These get a little tricky. You know, the main thing here in the meeting is that when you come to your vote, that it's clear that there's been a motion, a second, any discussion, and a vote. If you have a motion and an amended motion and you start to get a little bit confused, best thing to do is just say, okay, we're going to clear the slate. Someone make a fresh motion, and you do it. And then you have a second, then you debate, and then you pass it. As long as that's all clear, you're okay. It's okay. If you remember, in fact, when Johnny gave his training, he said, I don't think I've ever met a commission that followed the parliamentary procedures, exactly right. They get too detailed sometimes. And
The problem we deal with smart lawyers in our
Yeah.
county. They come and they can look at everything we do. And we have had an opportunity at something that wasn't done correctly, that cost us things.
Well-
So I think as your attorneys are looking this from this side, I think we should look for the other perspective. What if another lawyer come and look at this? It's clear enough for them to say we are following the rule. And that's why.
Well, the main thing is your motions, how you articulate them, what you're approving. As long as everything is clear, whether you use the word tabled or postponed or amended, as long as it's clear and you cover it, I don't foresee any legal issues that way. My opinion. Also, when it comes to these policies and procedures, they're just your internal rules. They're not intended to really create any special rights of any parties outside. This is to help you run a good meeting. It's all important, but different than other policies and procedures. Anything more on motions?
I'm good.
Reading and passage of resolutions and ordinances. So you have them in print. You read them into the record. Available to the public. You have an effective date.
We still in the motion 8, 9, and 10. Are we okay with everything there?
I thought so. Are there any questions on 8, 9, and 10?
No questions here.
No.
Okay. Reading and passage of resolutions and ordinances.
I don't have anything. Do you see anything?
Pretty straightforward. Yep, I think
Where are you at now?
section O.
You had 2 commissioners that are second language learners, so you're a little bit slower than that. So, and you're always gonna have, I think, commissioners that are second language learners. So,
I think with these resolutions and ordinances, just with your experience on the commission so far, you can just see the normal process with those. I don't see anything in here that is problematic or outside of what you're already doing. Printed, read into the record, available to the public, have an effective date. If you're going to amend an ordinance, you do it through your voting procedure, so majority vote. I don't want to move faster than you want me to. You tell me. Is that anything more on section O?
On section O, number 4, we did verify correct statute, right? Utah Code annotated chapter 17, section 64,
That's one of the red lines there.
502. That's good, right?
On this one right here, the Open Meetings Act.
On number 4, under O,
You gotta go up a little bit, please. There you go.
Up here.
there,
Yep.
yep. Effective date of ordinances.
Have you checked that one, Jens? The 15 days?
I think it was checked in the beginning. I haven't checked it before this meeting.
I think it's right.
Because those numbers change once in a while,
I know.
you sometimes have documents like this with the prior number.
But sometimes people
17,
check things in
64,
chat,
502.
and chat is not a current
Right.
information. They feel Lima as still working for the state of Utah. I mean, it's good for lots of things,
64?
but not to check. Yeah.
Was it 64, 502?
Yeah.
Effective dates.
Yeah, looks like it.
It's usually been 15 days on there.
Right up there on 3A. Within less than 15 days after passage of the use
Right there,
of the
15
ordinance.
days.
So,
Good spot. So yeah, that is correct.
Okay. Any more on section O? Move on to section P, decorum and debate. I don't think you're going to see anything unusual in here. I believe this is consistent with what you already do in your meetings. So that there's some order, the chair guides the discussion and recognizes a person for comments and so forth. Try to keep interruptions to a minimum. As far as 1 through 3, any questions on those?
Number 7, can we go over that a little bit?
Sure. About electronic devices?
Mhm.
So the use of electronic devices during a commission meeting shall be limited to matters pertaining to the business of the meeting, except in the case of personal emergency. Such use is subject to the Open and Public Meetings Act, or GRAMA.
Yeah, when I first started, it was my understanding for us not to use the phone during the meeting. I don't know if that was a matter of protocol or matter of a rule.
It's more of a, I think a common courtesy, and I mean it's here in the policy that it's a policy not to use your phone while during the meeting unless there's an emergency, as it says. So, these days, I suppose emergency is. Well, we send texts and different things because there's an urgent something or another that comes in and we have a little break or it's not our turn to talk, and so we send a text maybe. So it might be an emergency to the person. I don't know. That's kind of up for you to decide. I mean, I think you know where the lines are. If the use is disruptive, then that wouldn't be good.
So I laugh, but there have been commissioners in the past that have taken phone calls during the meeting, and they're talking right there.
Yeah,
While
that would-
everybody else is debating or staff is up presenting it. So I laugh at that. But as we sat with the state legislators and going through revision of the Open Meetings Act, and Grandma, this is one of them that the state wanted to continue to allow. The electronic devices could be used in a meeting, and so they were super apprehensive to
Just
ban
depend the time.
cell
If we-
phones
if we
altogether.
haven't-
Yeah.
If it's a presentation going on and it's
Mhm.
dependent, you know, I have seen those things happen sometimes in other commission,
They have,
another type
yep.
of meeting
Yeah.
where they're in the process of discussing something and people leave in the middle, which I don't think is okay.
So-
anyway, but-
Number 8, no commissioner shall leave the meeting location during a session 15 without, can we fix that?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good catch.
It's cool, can I?
Anything more on that section?
Oh, no, I'm okay.
Section Q, participation by the public. Okay. So just a few things that I think have already been discussed before. In a public hearing, the whole purpose of the hearing, of course, is to hear from the public. So that is,
So number 1 is a privilege and not a right. A citizen doesn't have the right to the public hearing.
so the legislature, this is true in all states, wants public involvement, public participation in a public hearing, a matter that comes before the commission in public hearing. They come, they make their views, they're allowed to speak, so on and so forth. In a meeting that's not a public hearing, it's traditional that the commissioners or the city council or whatever group allows public to make comments. Sometimes they have meetings where they don't allow public comment, and usually that's because time constraints. A lot of times they want to get done with the meeting, they have a large agenda, and you have to remember this. You've heard the word public clamor. So when the commissioners make a decision, it's not to be based on public clamor. It's supposed to be based on information at a public hearing. You know, like if you're approving, for example, something to do with zoning or, you know, a land use type decision. So
For Commissioner Harvey, because he doesn't understand the word clamor, it's comments. It comes
yeah,
from
public clamor is it's that pressure, you know, of
Yeah.
the crowd and the loud voices and really want to be heard. And the whole point of that is just that you could have 100 people come and have a really good set of comments on a particular issue, but that issue is not on the agenda. It's not up, you know, it's not up for decision, and it's not a public hearing for that item. So it's public comment, and it's great. It's just that it's not factored into your decisions on the agenda that night. So anyway, I don't know if that answers your question, but our county allows for public comment at all meetings, so people are encouraged and allowed to make comments. The chair kind of, you know, runs the meeting and makes sure there's order as far as who's speaking at what time, so there's some order there, one at a time.
So this one you have the 3-minute rule. There is on here when you recognize them. I was just reading it. Okay, so item number 3, citizens to be heard. During the citizens to be heard portion of the meeting, citizens desire to speak shall address themselves to the chair. Upon being recognized, they shall stand, state their full name, address, who they represent, and state their subject matter we've never asked them to state their subject matter before they give their comment. So I don't know if we want to keep that in there. I feel it's important that they state their name for the record, and they also state what their address is, because then you'll know whether or not they reside in the county or not. And so
One of the reasons to keep that in, just for your consideration, is you may have a meeting where there's a lot of public comment, and you may want to ask the person, are you here to speak on the subject that's already been stated by, many other people? And again, this shouldn't be viewed as we don't want to hear people's concerns. It's you may have a deadline, like you may need to end the meeting at a reasonable time. Don't construe this as we don't want public comment. I'm just saying it's okay to ask them what the subject matter is, and if it's duplicative.
Could we put and maybe asked to state?
okay.
And then that way they don't have to every time. And may be asked to state. Yeah. Okay. Is everybody good with that?
That makes more sense.
As you go on down, talks about interruptions. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. The 3-minute rule.
Real quickly, Jen, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to number 3, nombre 3. I'd like to propose that, this is from my observation of how the public addresses the commission. Maybe instead of talking to a chair that's got 4 legs and is, can we substitute the word the chair with maybe the commission?
Sure.
Would that be good?
Mhm. No.
That won't hurt anyone's feelings.
Oh, heavens no.
Okay.
It's great.
That way there's some real people to be talking to, not inanimate. Thanks, Jen. Sorry.
Oh, sure. That's good.
Number
Good
4.
comment. Good comment. The interruptions, the 3-minute rule. Number 6 talks about the orderliness. This is designed to just prevent a big shouting match in the meeting. Yeah, did you?
One thing about number 3, do they have to declare who are they representing? I mean, they may be representing
Well, I think,
families, they may, represent.
yeah,
Can they just stand by themselves and say, I'm here to talk about this?
sure.
And
I wouldn't
say-
read too much into that. I think, like, we've had a lot of people come forward and say, I represent this certain group. The trail system, we've
Oh,
had,
Yeah, well, I understand that. That is different than,
you can represent yourself or who.
I was just talking about the regular citizen that comes over here, and it's not an easy thing. The other ones are used to presenting. I mean, I don't worry about them. It's just the ones that feel marginalized right now. And so how do we, the more rules that we give them, the more they feel like they're being
Well,
singled out.
I wouldn't read too much into it. I mean, they just, if it, I'm Jamie Harvey. I'm from Aneth. I'm here to talk about the new roundabout down in whatever it is. So, yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but there's no real specific, like, you can just say I'm here on behalf of myself, I guess, if there's a question about it.
All right, Jen. Sorry, Madam
No,
Chair.
go ahead.
I'd like to propose a change to nombre 5.
Okay.
And this is because of our observation on prior public hearings. I know that many of the general public, like Commissioner Stubbs has mentioned, are really not familiar with the public meeting process, and
Sure.
sometimes it's really nerve-wracking,
Sure.
especially if you're really wanting to present your position and you're overwhelmed by the fact that there's a huge crowd, there's people watching from outside on the internet, and you've got three authoritative figures that are kind of intimidating. What I'm proposing here is, and hopefully this will resonate for all the folks that want this change. I'd like to propose we move this to 6 minutes and see how that works. Just for the fact that many times, and we've all heard this, 3 minutes is not enough. And I think that allows them to say what they need to say. Sometimes they have a letter and it might be 2 pages, and
Yeah.
they're trying to run through that the best they can, and then we end up cutting them off midway.
So you have the option to grant more time in that provision, number 5. 3 minutes is a common, I think if you go to any city or county, it's 3 minutes. So I don't know where that came from. It just seems to be the common number of minutes. So it's up to you. You know, the rule does allow you to waive that 3 minutes. It says there. You just need to agree upon it yourselves here. In some meetings, especially in planning and zoning, you have the applicant, they have more time. So this would apply mostly to just the public comment period. And the considerations, I think, would be how much time do you have for the meeting? How many people are there to talk? And then, like I say, in number 5, you can make an exception and allow more time. I would recommend that you be very judicious with that, because you don't want one person feeling like they had less time when they should have had more, and so forth. So anyway,
In the current policy, it says that the chair has the choice to allow more time. I was in a situation where the commissioner didn't let me do it. I think what it should be the commission instead of the chair, because the
That's-
chair, instead of saying the chair would have I think it should be up to the commission to decide, you know, by,
that's the rule, the commission. I think that's always been the rule.
I just talk about the current policy talks about the chair being the one to allow more time.
Oh, I didn't think the chair could do that. Maybe I'm wrong, but
Well, I know you say that in Mac's room, I couldn't do that, but according to the policy, current policy, it talks about the chair, and I think different times, different commissioners, it may be a position the chair doesn't agree with the person that's speaking, and then,
sure.
but I think if it's the commission, even by a nod, then we can agree to have, allow this one person. We have people, they have, you know, older people, it's kind of hard for them to
Sure.
keep track of time, and it takes a little long. I don't know, I'm not saying in every situation, but I think if we,
Well, this goes back to, I mean, the three of you, your decisions they carry the day. You can pass this today, and then in the meeting later, if you decide this such and such doesn't work for you, right then and there, you can change it. I mean, these are your policies and procedures for your meeting.
And Jen's, going back to Commissioner Stubbs' point about the commission being able to extend time, is that why we have or on the motion of the commission there? Is that based on a waiver that even the commission themselves can introduce a motion to extend a time for a speaker? That's the option. That's why that sentence is there.
Yeah, so I think, so let's just get real specific. Let's say you have a person come to speak and they want more time, and the chair says, I want to grant you more time. If the other 2 commissioners say we don't agree, that's a majority right there, and you can stop it. I mean, and you might have a discussion that says, well, look, we just passed these procedures that say, You might say, well, in this case, we're going to make a change, so it's really up to you. If you want to change the wording here so that, there's an expectation and, a pathway that you all feel good about, that's great. I mean, what you have right here is, I think, gives you all the options, but it could be made maybe a little more specific one way or another.
Commissioner Stubbs, siente muy bueno.
No, I was just, one time I used the idea to give somebody more time was when we had Mr. Johnson, the person that had house burned. He drove himself. He's an elder person.
Yeah, I remember him.
To come to the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And it took a while for him to pass the paper and everything. The clock is ticking, and he had a lot to say to us. And I thought at that point it was a respect to a person that there wasn't a need for us to hear him. And so at that time, I think there'll be times like that. I don't think that.
Sure.
And so, but I was glad that I just gave him some more time. And so, anyway, but. Whatever, yeah.
See, from down in Hovenweep, down that way, wasn't he?
Muy bien, muy bueno, está bien.
Montezuma Creek.
Three ways
That
of
where it's
saying it.
from.
Yeah. So which, do you want me to change it to 6 minute?
See. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
6 minutes.
You
Okay.
good with it right now, Chair?
I would rather go with 5, but I'll do with 6 if you want.
Cool.
Okay, so we are at 6 minutes.
So
Except
henceforward-
on waiver of the chair.
Henceforth,
Henceforth-
6 minutes per speaker if they want
Henceforth until District 3 has a different representative.
it.
And then it said up a waiver by the commissioner, we're putting it said by the chair.
This gives two options. Either the chair can waive that and add, or on a motion of the commission.
Yeah, so so again, go back to a specific example. If the chair says, I'd like to, let you finish your letter, or whatever it is you want to do, unless the other two commissioners are opposed and want to make it known, then that's just the way it will go. If they want to oppose it and vote right there to stop it, then they could.
I just want to talk about an example that happened in planning and zoning. I think you were there when the chair allowed somebody to take longer time.
Who was the applicant, and
Yeah.
he is entitled to
I
more
just
time.
said there was, but the public.
But I'm sorry to interrupt you. The only reason I say that is because the public in the meeting didn't realize that.
yeah.
And the public online didn't realize that. And the person that got up and made a huge problem about it didn't realize that.
Well, that's the thing.
But that was too late.
We tell people they don't know all the rules and they don't realize things. They're here because they feel they had to be here. And I remember that creating a big commotion.
Yeah.
And that's the only time I stood up in a meeting, in commission meeting, because people, they were everywhere.
I remember that meeting well.
Yeah. Anyway, so I said the rule about the chair, that the chair has the ability. And that person that was presenting had waited for a long time to have his turn. And it was something that, it was a good call.
Yeah.
But the public didn't understand it. They were really kind of what I call the shovel effect. There's a story that somebody just made it play in the head and the end, they are so mad.
Yeah.
I don't understand why. And that's something that we need to kind of figure out is clear, that this is clear, that, and I don't know how we.
Well, before
let
that,
people know there'll be times.
before that meeting got out of control, ideally we could have explained that the applicant is different than the average. They're the applicant, so they're supposed to have more time because the board is going to question them and have information back and
Yeah.
forth sharing. That might have diffused the situation, but it happened so fast that.
It got a fuse.
Yep.
It was the fuse, anyway.
Okay. We have 6, 7, 8, and 9.
So on 6, do you want to change that one instead of that
Number
all
6,
statements
we
shall
got-
be addressed to the commission,
Yeah.
like we did above?
Yeah, let's keep it consistent. I think that would be good.
So all those blue things are grammar things, spelling.
These are just so
Spacing.
recommendations. You have 2 verbs on there, and they're recommending that it just be public instead of public shall. So it's just things like that.
Any questions on 7 about
You
questions?
need to change 8. Oh, sorry, you're still on 7.
Well,
Okay, which
I
one?
don't- if there are no questions on 7, then on to 8. No assignment of time.
Bottom line. If you change the time.
Oh, yeah, so it's now 6
So
minutes.
change what one?
On 8, on the bottom line.
It just
you have
says 3 minutes. 3 minutes on number 8 instead of 6 now.
Good catch.
And you'll need to parentheses a 6 as well.
On which one?
Like you did in 5.
So spell it out and then the number.
Parentheses it.
SIX and then parentheses the number 6.
Now would be commission. Discretion of the commission.
In the bottom, yeah, the next to the bottom.
Well, I think
This
That-
mirrors the language up
yeah,
in
number 5.
5.
So that on
Yeah,
that one, the
okay.
chair. So anyway, yeah, I think so that's the case where the chair allows more time. Number 9 is orderly conduct. I think in an
Don't we have something like that?
earlier section we talked a little bit
Yeah,
about
so
how to do that. I don't think this deviates from that really, except for in the earlier section there was discussion that the focus was more on let's take a break in the meeting or postpone the meeting and more or less do everything we can not to have someone removed. And I don't think this is opposed to that or necessarily different from that. It just doesn't say as much about it. So it's up to you if you feel anything else is different. I mean,
Can
obviously there's a
Can we
certain
look- Can we look both side by side and decide if we are repeating ourselves or?
well, depends on how quickly you want to get done with this thing, I guess. Is today the
Well,
day to
we-
finish this?
We wanted to make it right, you know, I mean, we don't.
Let's move forward. And
Well,
let's
yeah, I
do
don't.
this at
I'm
the
not.
same time.
I'm not saying not to
Yeah.
make it right. I'm just saying that the prior section there was just reference to one of the things that commissioners can do is postpone the meeting or take a break or
There's duties of the chair.
is that where it was?
Yeah. Do you want to go to that real fast? So
What page?
duties of the chair is D, as in David. And then you just have the controls.
Why not
All
the
the
chambers?
chambers.
So it's number 4.
Mhm.
It's number 4 after the change. It was old number 5. So if you wanted to, I guess you could just cut and paste this into the number 9 of the section Q.
That's a good idea. I like that. Helps
Does that
us
sound
stay
all right then?
consistent, yeah.
Okay.
IGK.
15. Bottom.
On to section R. Public hearings. So public hearings are that's probably I don't know if it's the most important part of your routine activities, but it might be, because that's where you have a decision to make and you're inviting the public to come in to help you with information. Typically, the commissioners will rely on their staff and the research they've done leading up to the meeting. If you remember when Johnny came for one of his trainings, he said, I'm going to paraphrase, he more or less said it should be very, very unusual for the commissioners to get to that point in the process and feel like they don't know enough to make a decision, for example. Public comment is received along the way, especially if it's for a planning and zoning matter, because all those things are dealt with in that group too. But it is sometimes the case that you have public comment and they provide something new, something you hadn't known before, or an angle you hadn't thought of before, and that might change your vote. If you remember specifically, one thing Johnny said when he did his training was that if a person came to the public meeting and said, hey, I oppose this for this reason, a commissioner might say, well, have you gone to the meetings that planning and zoning has had? And the person might say, yes. And I've sent emails and they've never responded to me. They've never interacted with me or addressed this concern. Johnny said, if you have a case like that where you feel like there is an important aspect that hasn't been dealt with yet or just, researched, then that would be a good time to say, okay, maybe we need more information and we're not going to vote yes today. But for the most part with public hearings, you should have done a lot of research, and there should have, your staff and your whoever's involved should have provided you with a lot of information. It shouldn't be the first time you're hearing about things. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So, public hearings. Okay, staff presentation. The applicant will speak. It says here, number 3, the applicant's limited to 10 minutes. Did you have a question?
Can I address number 1?
Sure.
Okay. Like with me, every time I get a somewhere record, I go to the public hearing to see what the county's advertising. And I noticed the print is so small. It doesn't matter what kind of glasses you have. Usually the people that read those things are not the younger generation.
Right.
It's the older generation. And I don't think I don't know what we can do. It costs more to put in larger prints. But people, if I say, well, I tell them what's on the public hearing, so why can't I read them?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's something that we have to consider, because we are following the rules, but sometimes they don't get the information because the prints are being small.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's something that we need to consider as we advertise. And usually, most of the time, as the departments that do a map, or you do all the public hearings?
We do the advertisements, or Lyman does the advertisements. The difficulty with the font, everything that I do is typically in 12-point font. You send it to the newspaper, and newspaper is going to shrink it to fit as much as they can in there. They get paid for that. That's their job. Mm-hmm. And so it's hard to dictate the font on a public hearing or public notice. They do what they do on the font sizes, but our posters, our flyers that we send out, we can certainly make sure the font is bigger on there, but we can't dictate how the paper.
I think typically there are some. As far as I know, it's routine practice to put up, like you say, a flyer or a notice in the post office or libraries, and even here at the county building. Mm-hmm. There are online postings, but as you say, that caters more to the technologically advanced generation, not some of the
I don't know, in
older
Blondie,
people.
most of the seniors do not have internet in their homes.
Right.
This is another cost.
Yeah.
So they go to the library and they check emails and things like that. It's not like when you're at home and you have internet, I can check things at 2 o'clock in the morning or
Sure.
whatever. They don't have that. Most of the seniors, they just wait to go to the library and do that. And if you go to the library during the morning time, there's lots of them. They're checking the emails and anyway, so.
So in the
It's just a
libraries, and-
consideration that, that we had to realize that just because we put it in the paper, it's not a guarantee that people getting it.
Yeah.
100%.
so in a library or post office, there's what, a kind of a community board, and the notice is put right there.
And different public hearing notice, there's different notices, different requirements, whether you're a Class A notice or whatever the case is. And so some of them, like a CDBG public hearing, isn't mailed out to all the citizens. It's more we posted on Utah Public Notice on our website, and that's all that is required. And so different public hearings, different postings.
Okay, so in this section, it makes reference to the staff, which is your county employees that are helping you with information and what the requirements are and so forth before a decision is made in a public hearing. So they'll present. You have the applicant themselves. And it says here that they're allowed 10 minutes, or as otherwise indicated by the chair. I suppose, to be consistent right here, you could use that little phrase that's been used in the other parts about the chair and or the commission by motion, however that, I don't know if you want to do that or not, but the wording is subject to the discretion of the chair or a vote of the commission.
Can we put or by? What did you say?
Is that what it
Jens?
said, or by motion from the commission,
I thought it was by vote.
or by vote?
Or a vote, yes, subject to the discretion of the chair or a vote of the commission. Did I say motion?
Or no?
You did say motion.
Did I?
Oh, yeah.
I was just testing you to see if you're listening.
By motion, is that right?
So I think it's vote. Should be vote.
Okay, by vote.
Okay, there's a part here about questions where you want to have some give and take back and forth. And, a lot of times you have a public hearing where a person with a lot of knowledge and history with, especially if it's a land use thing, they may say, look, I farmed this land for, they'll know all about it and might be helpful. So you may talk to them for 10 minutes or more with questions. Opening hearings.
Do you want that on the questions, switch that to ask instead of call? May
Let's
call
see.
for questions, may ask for questions from the staff.
I don't mind call.
As may call for.
May call me on the cell phone.
Oh, I see.
You know what? I think we put or on motion of the commission.
On this one right here?
Uh huh. Or
That's what I thought it was, but
or
Jen's
on
mentioned
motion of the commission.
motion of the commission. We're going back to motion.
Motion is good.
Motion to approve.
Okay. Number 5 here about opening the hearing. Pretty straightforward. You open it, you call members of the public, first one to come in. You read the statement about. Guess it doesn't say here that you read the statement, but you generally read the statement about what the expectations are for the comments and so forth. Closing the hearings. Am I going too fast? Any questions? I don't want to. Closing the hearing. So you have your public comment.
Maybe just a suggestion, something we
Okay.
can think about. Right after the sentence of the right after the first sentence, maybe something to the effect of orientating the public before they begin. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So like making the public aware of expectations
The expectations. Yeah. Or
and rules of decorum.
Pointing to the, we have this little sentence on our agenda. Just as a reminder and a courtesy. I think that would be helpful.
I would probably put it as public comment disclosure of decorum.
Yeah, because Madam Chair has been doing that. You've been doing that a lot, so I think that helps. Just as a reminder.
So you want to add something to this first sentence that says like, may read a statement about.
Mm-hmm.
May read a statement of what was the.
We just put the commissioner chair will read the process and procedures of decorum for the public hearing, public
Comment.
Yep. You good with that?
Cool.
Okay.
Number 6 and 7 talk about written comments coming in. So
This one worries me on there. So
this one, if you have a meeting that you feel you're making a decision on something that super important, maybe a little different type of decision than your routine decisions, and you feel like a lot of people would like to comment and that you should hear those comments before it goes into effect, then you can say in your decision that this decision is going to we've made our decision, but it's not going into effect. You can give a period of time, and you can allow to receive additional written comments. And it says here for up to 6 days before the next meeting. So anyway, this just gives you that option to do that. I think it's very unusual. I haven't seen it done ever.
Never. So that's what I worry about. So you have, say the commission passes an ordinance, you have 15 days before its effectiveness by law.
Yeah.
And here you're allowing a 6-day window. So is it 6 days and then?
So you'd have to, if
then
it's
15 days after that 6 days?
if it's an ordinance, you would have to get real specific about the timing, and you would have to say
It's
to the
15
ordinance.
days by law.
Well, it just says not
State.
sooner than 15, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, we looked it up in Utah code. Is that 15 days?
I think that section
effectiveness?
says that you have to give at least 15 days.
Within less than 15 days of passage of the
So it has.
ordinance.
So in that case, then if 15 days is the outside, like it has to
That's
be.
when it's passed.
Then
approved.
your time for
Like
written.
it's 6 days before that 15 days comes into effect. Reading the
Yeah, you'd have to say in your decision that if you want to send in some additional written information, we'll hear it and receive it up to this date because our ordinance goes into effect on this date, something like that.
So do we? So my
But
question
not
is-
everything's going to be an ordinance. Remember, I mean, it could be
I'm thinking of the budget. I mean, the budget we pass on through a public hearing. We close
Yeah.
the public hearing, pass the budget. They get 6 extra days.
only if that's how the decision
That's
is.
in the policy,
It's not.
though.
It's not. Well,
You get
this
6
is.
days to continue to provide public comments.
This is if they, I mean, you can add a may in there, I guess, if you want to, but this is not a shackle to you. This is not a requirement. This is if you want to, I don't know. I don't know what an example would even be. Let's say there's I don't know, when COVID hit, maybe that would be a time when you would say, look, people can't come to the meetings. We're going to let them write in for a period of time,
Yeah.
something like that. Very unusual.
So
I
is
don't
this
know why
required
we-
by statute?
No.
No,
So
I
then
don't know
just
why we
take
have
it out. Just take
I
7,
think-
8, 9 out. If it's not even required by statute.
Yeah. So okay, this is a good point. So we could take these out, and then if in a meeting you decided you wanted to receive additional written comment, you could say, hey, because of the situation here, we're going to give you, and that would be fine.
Yep.
So
So 6, 7, 8,
So-
Are we good with
9.
that?
So 7, 8, and 9 gone.
Because we could just say we will leave written comment or late comments for
Or ask
if
for
we
it to be
chose
recalled, or
if we chose to, yeah.
yeah.
I like the idea of the written comments. It gives an opportunity to everybody in the room to be equal, but if we call some people and we run out of time, we don't.
After your vote.
See, this is
allowing
after
it
the
after
vote.
you vote.
Well, after the
So after the word
Mhm.
hearing in the first sentence on number 6 is probably where you ought to put a period and then just get rid of the rest of that one, and then
Yeah.
also 7 and 8. Just get rid of them.
So can I think this through with you guys to make sure that I'm in the right frame of mind? In theory, we're talking about up to the day of the hearing. So
Oh, this is after.
After.
this is after?
This is
Uh-huh.
after.
And we voted already.
So you voted, you closed the public hearing, and then you're still allowing 6 days after for written comments and.
But you're still asking for comment after there.
But like he said, if we've already made the decision, like on the budget, then if you have all these comments coming, you've already voted on the budget, and it's the end of the year. Do you really going to consider the comments? So
Yeah.
I guess to keep us safe, just eliminate. And then if we choose, I mean, we could always say, we voted on the budget, but we're going to keep it open for 3 days or 2 days, or I mean, we have that full discretion to do
Yeah.
that.
Let me
So-
can I just make just to try to put this in context. So you're in a meeting and you call item number such and such, and you open the public hearing because it's a public hearing. The public makes their comments. You have staff come and present. You have the applicant. You have everybody. So you hear everything, right? Then you say, okay, we've heard from staff. We've heard from the applicant. We've heard from the public. We're going to now close the public hearing. Once you close the public hearing, additional comments from the public are not to be really factored into your decision because that's the public clamor.
They missed it.
And so you close the public hearing. The idea is you've received all the information necessary to make a decision. You then go ahead, deliberate, motion, vote, and that's the end. So this part about receiving written stuff later, if you decided for whatever reason that needed to happen, you could just make that part of your decision. But rather than keep it in the policy and procedure, since it's such a, like I say, I've never seen it happen ever in my life in any meeting. So anyway, so probably best just to get rid of it.
Okay. But did you need to get rid of?
So it's just what
Yeah.
we're saying is make a period after the word hearing in the first sentence on number 6. Is that right? Which is saying you're closing it. The chair announces conclusion of this portion of the public hearing. So you would say, okay, comment is done. We're going to close. Can I have a motion to close go out of public hearing? Right? Then you close it.
Oh yeah, right there. I see what you're saying. Yep.
So
Okay.
you could say the chair on a motion, whatever.
That's fine.
It's yeah. Okay, good. I think that's just get rid of the other part.
By motion of the commission. Right? You have to have a motion to close the public hearing.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Any more on that one then? Move on to S, amendment of policies and procedures.
Can you wrap this in 3 minutes? We can start on our other
Yep.
two, so we'll have a little bit of time.
I think this one's self-explanatory. Nothing unusual there. On number 1 and 2. Number 3.
Can we just stop in the page, and then we resume later so that we can.
This is the end of it, right here.
So this next paragraph is the last item.
Home stretch.
Are you sure? Is it a resolution or is it an ordinance?
I think it's a resolution. You're talking about number 2?
No, the resolution. Yeah, sorry. Are these supposed to be adopted by ordinance? I think they are.
I don't know. I didn't think so, but if you want to, I mean, it's not really an ordinance for the county. It's just
Yeah.
it's just their, I mean, this is just for this group and their meeting, isn't it? I wouldn't think it would need to be an ordinance. A resolution makes sense because this body's saying they're passing this resolution. But an ordinance would be, I think, broader than needed, but.
Okay.
So this number 3, I think, is some language that kind of is a catch-all and a save-all. What this is saying is if there's any conflict in this procedure, that if this conflicts with a legal requirement, like a state statute, a state requirement, or even a county ordinance and requirement, then the ordinance or the state statute would control.
Number 3,
Yeah.
how about, number 2? Are we doing this right now? Because it is in the current,
No. Like, what do you mean?
have an electronic copy archived by the clerk office of changes we're making. This is first time we see a red line beside what Johnny has before. Since Mac started working with the group, this is the first time we had a red line underlined. And so I just want to know, we have that as a policy. Are we sending the changes electronically to
The idea
archive?
The idea here is that if you want to change the policies and procedures, then you go through a process.
That's what we are changing. We're going through the process. Are we following a red line document shall be archived electronically by the county clerk.
So this is the red
changes
line.
for approval. What?
Yeah.
This is the red line document.
I know, but all the other times we have made changes before this, have we been doing that?
So that I think maybe they're
I guess
just
this
some.
is the first time we're doing it. I don't remember other time we work.
No, this is the first time we've gone through, other than the last work session meeting that we've gone through and actually redlined
But
them.
we had talked several times about different documents.
Yeah, this one here is still the red
Because
line.
lots of changes they have.
What we're trying, I think, let me just try to clarify if it's okay. So when this is finalized, we'll have a new red line version
Okay.
that everyone has agreed to, and that red line version is going to be, and then you'll have the clean version, which is the actual policy. So you can pass a resolution saying that we want to adopt some new policies, update the policies and procedures. We're passing a resolution that we accept these, and there's a red line version attached, and you can give them to the clerk if you want. I don't know that it's really, that seems like kind of an antiquated thing, but Lyman's got lots of space in his virtual and his physical vault, so he can keep them in there.
This has been tracking the changes all along, and so
I think in Commissioner Stubbs' mind, what she's asking is, of all the changes we've made thus far, and there's been about 3 changes thus far.
So this version here is the only one that has red lines, and this represents going back from the beginning, coming forward. Now it's probably true that if you took the very, very beginning thing we had, I don't know that we have a red line of what changed from that to the,
no,
but
we skipped that
but
one.
this, it's not. Well, if these are changed in a year or two, having this what we've got now will be great, because then you're going off of what was recently done, and you can see every change made.
Yeah,
So that'll be a little cleaner, maybe.
The good thing about this discussion is it helps kind of with us as commissioners understand how the outcome of any red line document will be. And so I think in my mind and Commissioner Stubbs' mind, what we're thinking, and you can tell us if this is the right train of thought. The idea is that with each work session we've held with this particular policy for the commission, we've completed 3 changes. Therefore, that equates to 3 red line documents that are archived now. Is that the correct frame of thinking?
You could do it that way. I look at it as you're going to end up with a final version that will have, tracking along the way. And so in my mind, you're going to have one document that has, it's going to have red lines, and then you'll have the clean version. So the red line and I guess could.
So if I may, this is on the agenda in case we got through it. We can postpone it. So what I'm wondering if we'd like to request is that with all the changes that were made, so then what it needs to do is it needs to come back to us in a week or few days with all the changes. So we want a clean version and the red line version side by side that you can compare. Okay. And then we can all look at them when we come back for our next meeting in 2 weeks. We can say, is there any more changes? If there's not, we can still put it back on the agenda. If there's no changes, we could approve it. But then you're approving that fine. So this, you'll have the red line and the clean version. And then if we do make a change, you'll still make a change. And if not, it will be the clean version to pass if you would like in the 2 weeks. Does that work?
And I think just going back to my question again, to help with the public who's going to watch this, when we're talking about red line documents, Madam Chair, if I may clarify this, when we have a red line working document, it's not that we're going to have 3 separate red line documents.
Right.
What we mean when we say red line documents is we have one working document and the changes made is on the working document. There'll always be one document. I think that's important to assert now because there's a lot of misconception about what does red line document mean. And so going back again to what I thought was red line document, I thought a red line document was when we take the time in a work session to make changes, we compile each change at that specific work session meeting. And so we've had 3 work sessions on this particular document. And in my mind, it equated to 3 separate red line documents, but no. We're actually working with one document, and it's one document with the changes being recorded
From every
succession,
from every visit we've made.
Also, just keep in mind, if you went through this process and whether you had red line along the way or not, and you had the finished product, let's say you just gave Lyman the finished product, a clean draft. Well, if you then change it again, it takes a lot more work to see the differences between the clean draft and the new policy. But all I'm trying to say is the red line is intended to help everyone understand what was changed. So I guess having a record of the old and the new tells you what was changed, but the red line helps you find it quicker and it's way more efficient. That's the whole point.
It helps us see the progress of what has been changed. For instance, the document that we have right now and the agenda, it says the changes have been made. There's no change made from the last meeting in that document. The only change is the page number in the bottom. Instead of being 1014, 1014, 1014. That's the only change. And so that is
Which one are you talking about?
the one that's in the agenda, the document that's in the agenda. It talks about the changes.
That one's going to be postponed, and so
You're talking about the work session agenda or
We're
the?
talking about the
on the agenda, so
today's
we'll just
business action
postpone
item.
it.
Well, that's why I clarify, make sure we do that, because we're not ready. The other thing, Commissioner Harvey, we mentioned before you came, that we need to have Johnny Miller's office go over a version before we bring it to commission meeting. We talk about a little bit about that, having them make sure that they can, see. They
I would
have a
re-
good team, and not everybody knows everything, and it'd be nice for us. I would feel a lot better if that seal of approval said it looked good to us, and did they make the decision, not us telling them, because, anyway.
Well, two comments on that. It's fine if you want to do that. First comment is I think they would say we're not in the business of giving a legal review of your
Well,
procedures because they actually provided the beginning point. Second comment is that would probably delay you again even farther. So,
and
and it kind of shows maybe that you don't have a lot of confidence in your county attorney's office.
Well, right now, it's not a rush to rush this document. We do have a current we operate under. And I think, to me, we need to do the best we can. We don't want to say, well,
Yeah, it's
So
up
to
to
me,
it's
I
up to the
just-
commission for sure.
so I feel like that's what's mentioned early, and I thought that was a good idea to have it. Nobody say, oh, we can't do that, but, so I think there's something we can do. And they can say, they can tell us that, they can say we don't do this, but they already offer some guidelines that I don't know if we incorporate those guidelines on this document or not.
Yeah, it's up to you.
Oh, go ahead.
Madam Chair, our red line document, that's a working document, on page 9 under F, it speaks to our county attorney. And it's under number 2, legal analysis by a county attorney. When requested, the county attorney will provide a full and detailed written legal analysis of any item on the commission agenda in the manner described in these policies. Perhaps it's not, Madam Chair, Johnny Miller's office, but perhaps it's getting County Attorney Mon to begin just doing that, saying, by my legal analysis as the county attorney, I have made my legal analysis, and that would be appropriate confidence, I would say.
So when you request it.
And so
I can ask him.
perhaps we can do that.
Okay. So could we have this both documents side by side to us when can you get that to us? We need at least, because we have a couple
Yeah,
weeks.
I can get it this week.
Okay. So if you can have this to us by the end of the week, then.
Yeah.
So we need to move on to the credit card policy. This is
I
an
did have-
action item. That we
I
need
did
to
have
talk
one
about.
final point out to Jens to look at, and it's in section 305 so we're referencing 303 and 305.
Oh,
In 305 is where it talks about the legislative body may adopt ordinances that expand the reasons and establish restrictive procedures. So that's where I got the ordinance language. So just
Oh,
take
gotcha.
a look at that and see if
Okay.
we need to adjust that.
Okay.
Sorry.
You're fine. Can
No
we jump
worries.
to the credit card? Is everybody jumping to the next one? All right.
Okay.
And then there's just the one change from the credit card to the purchasing to
Okay.
reflect the credit card.
Any objection if I take 30 seconds to go blow my nose?
No. So,
I've got a.
okay. He doesn't want to blow it in the mic.
He doesn't want an eternal recording of blowing his nose.
Right. I understand that.
But someone can grandma it, I guess.
His nose blowing.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
we're all getting initiated by spring.
I
So
know.
getting cold.
Throat, yeah.
It's a stubborn thing.
Mm-hmm. It was nice down there today, was it?
Nice and warm.
Yeah, it's gonna get warmer.
More. That means more.
All right, thank you. So this policy I don't have in front of me in printed. It's just up here. So
I got you, Jim. I got a purchase card. And
Tranner. Thank you,
there's a
sir.
purchase card and the purchasing.
Okay.
So, Jen, real quick, we might want to mention that this came out of the department heads and working with Vicky and with HR, and then it also went to the policy committee, which met. And Mac, we made a couple changes in there, right?
Yep.
You were in there, so Mac made a couple changes on that as well that would reflect, like some things that said still credit card, but say purchase card. So it has been gone over by the policy committee to look through this thoroughly. It's been looked at many times.
Gotcha.
Madam Chair, if I can ask,
Yeah.
could you remind us who the policy committee is composed of?
The policy committee invite went to commissioners, Mac, Go ahead,
and,
Turner.
TJ. So
Tranner.
two of our two of our longer tenured department heads, the 3 commissioners, Mac and legal.
So TJ and Tammy, myself, Mitch, and then the 3 of you were invited.
I was sick, so I did not attend that meeting.
Right.
Okay. So this is one of your duties administratively to update some of these now and then. I think it's good that it was mentioned that there was input from this committee. This reflects, I think, what they feel is good for them as in their departments and so forth, and also maybe just the current lay of the land versus how it was some years ago.
Madam Chair, can I ask a question? So are you familiar with or you substituting here?
I'm substituting for Mitch.
Okay, so
Or
you
Tranner can speak
I
to
know
that as well.
Turner's here. I just wonder if he has a, you're familiar.
You're wondering
Are
if
you
I
as
s-
good
if
as
I did
me
my
and don't
homework?
know anything?
You're wondering if I did my homework?
Well, I just wonder if you were given the time to do. I'm sure if you had the time, you would have looked at it. And so,
Yeah. I don't. Well, do you have any questions for me, or what are you wondering? What are you wanting to know?
maybe we should have tried to tell us. I don't know. I just,
This just represents an update, right, to the policy
yeah.
with
no,
feedback from the department heads.
I'm not criticizing. I feel if I would be put in a situation today, somebody says, you go talk about what you're talking about, I would be feeling like you're feeling. I don't know. And I don't think it's,
Commissioner Subs, I can jump up and answer any. I mean, if there's any questions or background or
Yeah.
what's been updated, I can.
Yeah, why?
I would like that because you can just, I don't have a question, I just want a little bit more information, and I feel bad for him because he's,
Well, I've read through this. I mean, it's not as if I'm up here with
okay.
zero.
Okay.
It was going to be Mitch, but it's me. If you're wanting the public to see that I'm not Mitch, I'm not Mitch.
No,
And if you're wanting the public to see that,
no, I just.
I wasn't involved in the process, I mean, I was not, but I think I can answer any questions if you have questions.
I wonder if Turner can talk. We've got just a couple minutes if you want to talk about like why Vicky. There were just some things that needed some teeth in it for employees and make it a purchasing purchase a P card policy rather than credit card?
Right. So I think the background in getting this updated was it was fairly vague.
Do you want to come to the microphone
Yeah.
since we are recording?
So when Vicky started down in the clerk's auditor's office, the credit card policy that we had in place at the time, or the ordinance that we still have in place, was vague on the requirements to get your credit card reconciliation into the clerk's auditor's office. So we don't have something that gives Vicky the teeth to then hold department heads' feet to the fire when it comes to getting documentation in. And so this policy outlines, and it's in here, that requires department heads to get their reconciliation into the clerk's auditor's office within, it states in here, within a week of receiving it from the clerk's auditor's office. So it gives her a little teeth to then hold them to the fire on getting her the required documents for the purchasing card.
And
Monthly
there's a
statement.
red line version if you look
There
in
is.
your commission packet. It shows the red line version of the changes.
And the work session shows
It's
the
just the final.
final, but it
Yeah.
also, what it did is it reflects the purchases into the so there's the purchasing policy. Why don't you just explain?
Right. So in here, I believe it's on page 3. So we have the purchasing policy that essentially gives the outline to department heads what your amounts are. The purchase card policy then follows and says, purchases made using the county purchase card shall be conducted in accordance with the county purchasing policy. So if that policy is ever updated, and that was one thing department heads wanted stated, is like right now we're still at $1,000 purchases without work order or without a PO and without your guys' approval at a higher threshold. And so this keeps it fluid. If that's ever updated or adopted, then we don't have to come back to this ordinance and then
Okay.
update amounts. So
Does anyone have any questions on it?
Mac, are you okay with,
Absolutely. The
Okay.
last thing I was checking on is there used to be a penalty for employees if they use the county card unintentionally.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I think the language in there stated that they would have to reimburse the county at that cost plus 150%. And so
right.
Tranner has gone back through and reflected state code so that we don't have that penalized. The state code is a little bit softer now than what it used to be, and so that was the last fix really
Right.
from
Yeah.
the committee meeting that we had, and so everything else looks great. And so this, kind of like Commissioner Mon had mentioned, just gives the clerk auditor a little bit more teeth, not just for department heads but also elected officials that have cards as
and it's
well.
good for departments too, because
Mm-hmm.
it is a good thing, so I just wanted to.
Okay.
Awesome.
We don't have any more
I
questions.
couldn't have said it better myself, Tranner. Good job, buddy.
We'll take a motion to adjourn, so we have a few minutes before.
Perfect.
Okay, so if I can get a motion to adjourn out of work session.
Yeah.
So it's from you.
Pardon?
So
We
did we
did
do
that.
both of these or just this one?
So just
Motion
this one.
Motion to
adjourn.
adjourn.
We'll bring this one back just because we.
For the second?
So
Okay, all
I
in
will-
favor?
Oh, so
Aye.
this isn't going to be.
no, this wasn't
Disgusting.
on. Yeah, this wasn't on.
Is the